This video accompanies Learning IoT with Python and Raspberry Pi. In this lesson, you will learn how to use the pickle module to write data to and read data from a file. Python objects have a type, a value, and an identity. Suppose you wish to store a list that contains float-type items or a list of lists that contain int-type items. Pickling enables the programmer to simply dump the data as a list of float types, as a list of lists of int types, etc. to a file. The reverse process, termed unpickling, enables the program to load the object back in without having to write code to convert the data back to the appropriate type. Essentially, the object's hierarchy is reconstituted. The pickle module provides functions for writing an object to a file and functions for reading an object from a file. The dump function can take as arguments the object that is to be written to the file and the file object itself, and it returns nothing meaningful. The load function does not require an argument, but it returns the object that was read from the file. Both the dump function and the load function can be passed additional arguments, but calling the functions as described here will suffice for our purposes. Dumping is for writing to the file, and loading is for reading from the file. An error could arise when pickling or unpickling is attempted, thereby raising a pickle error. If you wish to include exception handling, you should incorporate a try-except statement that handles the pickle error. If you wish to distinguish between an exception that might arise from pickling and an exception that might arise from unpickling, you could use an except clause that handles the pickling error and an except clause that handles an unpickling error. For the examples in this lesson, however, we'll just use a clause that handles a pickle error. A file that contains pickle data is in binary. Hence, a file to which pickle data is to be written must be opened with the mode WB, and a file from which pickle data is to be read must be opened with the mode RB. We write the script that handles dumping the list first. The dump function is imported from the pickle module and will create a list of 5 floats that could represent, say, the concentration of a gas expressed as a percentage. We'll use a with statement to open a file named concentration in the write binary mode. Then a single dump function call suffices to dump the list to the file. Next, we'll save the file and name it lesson pickle1 and then execute it. You could also incorporate a try-except statement to handle potential pickle error. In this case, you need to import pickle error from the pickle module. In addition, you would enclose the with statement inside of the try-except statement. We'll save the changes and run the script again. We'll write another script to load the list from the file. Hence, we import the load function from the pickle module. We won't include a try-except statement here. We use the with statement, this time opening the concentration file in the read binary mode. A single load function call suffices to load the list to floats. After the with statement, we include a print function call to print out the type of object that is returned by this load function call. In addition, we include a for loop to iterate over the elements in the list. Each iteration of the for loop, we print out the type of the element and its value. Next, we'll save this as lesson pickle2 and run the script. And notice the output. Multiple objects can be pickled and dumped to the same file. We begin by importing the dump function from the pickle module. In this example, we'll dump a string type object and then an int type object to the same file. We assign intruder detected to the variable myString and 870 to the variable myInt. We'll use a with statement to open up the file multi-dump in write binary mode. And then only 2 dump function calls are required to dump the string object and then the int object to the file. We'll save the file as _pickle3 and run it. Finally, we write the script to read the multi-dump file. We begin by importing the load function from the pickle module, and we'll use the with statement to open the file multi-dump in the read binary mode. Only 2 load function calls are required to load in the string object, assign it to the variable myString, and the int object, and assign it to the variable myInt. Following the with statement are 2 print function calls that print out the type of the object and its value. We'll save this as _pickle4 and run it. Notice the output. A link to where you can buy Learning IoT with Python and Raspberry Pi can be found on the learningiot.net website.